Most people think the best way to make money is through the stock market or big investments. But honestly, I think there's an even bigger business out there, one most of us don't think about.
Money coming to me now!
In the United States, religion isn't just about faith. It's part of a massive $1.2 trillion industry. Megachurches in particular seem to operate more like businesses than places of worship. Their leaders live in sprawling mansions, fly private jets, and enjoy lifestyles that rival those of the richest in the world.
They live in huge mansions, drive fancy cars, and forget about flying coach. They own some of the best private jets money can buy.
There's nothing wrong with having a ridiculous amount of wealth, and there's nothing wrong with buying expensive stuff. But here's the thing. This money doesn't come from investments or businesses. It is not daddy money either. This money is funded by the faith and generosity of their congregations. The pastors will turn around and brag about the expensive stuff they are buying with this money in front of their congregants.
One of my chandeliers costs more than most people's house. I got 22 chandeliers in the house.
Now, most of you would wonder how this is even possible. How do these churches bring in so much money? And why do people keep giving even when it seems so ridiculous?
If I want to believe God for a $65 million plane, you cannot stop me. You cannot stop me from dreaming. You can't stop me from...
When you really look at it, this is not just about money. It's about faith being used as a tool, sometimes even a weapon. These leaders promise blessings, hope, miracles in the name of religion. But as you may expect by now, this is not about religion. This is about something entirely different.
They are some of the most popular and flashy.
My house is almost 25,000 square feet.
Oh, and now I have family.
Preachers wanting high-end airplanes, and when they get them, they're not always particularly humble about it.
$54 million. I want you to imagine how many people could be fed. How many homeless could have places to sleep.
They're extremely greedy.
Say what?
They don't need mansions.
Yeah.
They don't need jets.
Get out of here!
These men appear to have made a lot of money, and they travel, well, like kings.
When thinking about pastors and religious leaders, most people picture humble individuals living simple lives, devoted to serving their communities and spreading messages of faith. But for many megachurch pastors, their reality couldn't be further from that image. Their lifestyles are filled with unimaginable luxury, funded by their congregation's generosity and protected by laws that exempt them from taxes. Looking at the luxurious lives of megachurch pastors, it's impossible not to wonder how they justify it all. After all, how does a message rooted in faith and humility turn into one that funds private jets and multi-million-dollar homes? The answer lies in something called the prosperity gospel. Let the pastor himself explain what that is.
All you've got is $1,000. Listen, that's not enough money anyway to buy the house. You're trying to get in the apartment. You're trying to buy the house. That's not enough money anyway. You get to that phone and you put that seed in the ground and watch God work it out.
The prosperity gospel didn't appear overnight. It has its roots in the word of faith movement, which gained traction in the mid-20th century. At its core, the prosperity gospel teaches that God wants his followers to be wealthy, healthy, and successful. It's an attractive idea. Who wouldn't want to believe that faith could unlock blessings of financial stability, perfect relationships, and a life free of illness? But the promises don't stop there. One of the central ideas in the prosperity gospel is the act of tithing, known as sowing your seed. This means giving money to the church. Traditionally, tithing was a way to support the church and its mission. But under the prosperity gospel, it's framed as an investment. Pastors preach that by sowing your seed into their ministry, God will reward you many times over. The promise is simple. The more you give, the more blessings you'll receive. The problem is that the way they ask for these donations is not particularly nice.
You need to make a vow of faith of $1,000. Oh, Bob, couldn't you say 25? No! You can't make...
For many followers, this message is deeply hopeful. It offers a way to escape financial struggles or achieve long-held dreams. But for others, it feels like a transactional approach to faith, one that turns God into a banker and donations into a currency for blessings. Followers are told that through their faith, they can manifest wealth, health, and happiness. The message sounds empowering. It's no longer just about serving God. It's about what God can do for you, right here, right now. As the prosperity gospel spread, It didn't just change how people thought about their faith. It created a system where churches became more like businesses and pastors more like CEOs. At the heart of it all, faith itself is transformed, not as a way to connect with the God, but as a tool to achieve massive wealth in the name of God. Even buying a private jet pastors justify it as part of the prosperity gospel.
Televangelist is asking his followers for donations to buy a $54 million private jet.
How did a faith built on sacrifice and service become so intertwined with wealth and materialism? When we look at the prosperity gospel, we see how these megachurches work. But there is another layer to their success, one that goes beyond flashy sermons and promises of wealth. At the heart of these organizations lies a disturbing reality: psychological manipulation and control. This is a system designed to keep followers loyal, obedient, and most importantly, giving. For many of these pastors, their sermons aren't just about faith, they're a masterclass in emotional and psychological tactics. Congregants are told that their financial contributions are not only acts of faith, but essential for their own blessings. This is known as coercive tithing, where followers are pressured to give more than they can afford, often with the promise that God will repay them many times over. But what happens when the blessings don't come? Well, the followers are blamed. They're told they didn't give enough, or their faith wasn't strong enough. Many pastors extend their influence into their followers' personal lives, making themselves indispensable in every decision. In some churches, members are discouraged from making major life choices, like getting married or changing jobs, without consulting their pastor first. This creates a dangerous power dynamic, where the pastor holds sway over nearly every aspect of their followers' lives. And then there's the most troubling tactic of all: fear-based threats. Some pastors go as far as to warn their congregants that leaving the church will result in divine punishment. Curses, misfortunes, and even spiritual damnation are used as tools to keep people from walking away. Imagine the weight of being told that stepping out of line could bring God's wrath upon you. It's a powerful way to keep people obedient, even when they start to question what's happening around them. The result of this control is often extreme devotion, and in some cases, shocking acts of compliance. One infamous example comes from a Nigerian pastor whose followers were told to eat grass to be closer to God. Without hesitation, they obeyed, crawling on the ground and consuming grass as a public demonstration of their faith.
The Seattle Rights Commission made its recommendations. As lawmakers are yet.
It's easy to wonder how this level of control is possible. But when you combine the promise of divine blessings, the fear of curses, and the sense of community these churches create, the results can be overwhelming. People feel trapped, not by physical barriers, but by emotional and spiritual ones. After understanding the manipulation tactics used to control followers, it's time to explore one of the most mesmerizing and controversial aspects of megachurches: the miracle cure.
People, everybody here can be healed tonight.
These spectacles are often the highlight of a service, where pastors claim to heal the sick, make the lame walk, or even raise the dead. But beneath the emotional scenes and dramatic reactions lies a question that's hard to ignore. Are these miracles real, or are they just stagecraft? Take Hinn, for example.
Take it! Take it! Take it in Jesus' name!
His TV shows often feature people with severe illnesses being healed on stage with barely a touch from him. Disabled individuals who have never walked before are shown standing and walking simply by stepping onto his stage.
Come here, dear lady. Walk back by yourself. Pick up your legs as you walk. Pick up your legs. Give her a big, big, big God bless you.
Power of God has come upon her. She feels completely well.
A pastor from South Africa claimed to have brought the dead back to life.
Rise up! Yes! Come on! Yes! Come on! Hey!
The problem is, it was all a lie.
And I saw him lying in the coffin and I saw his mouth moving. I said, he's not dead.
For Benny, the process begins with screeners, individuals who decide who gets to come on stage to meet the pastor. They'll ask attendees about their conditions, quietly assessing who might be the best fit for the performance. People with conditions that can be visibly changed or easily claimed as healed are chosen, while others with complex disabilities never make it past this first step. Once on stage, miracles often play out in strikingly similar ways. Someone who claims they've been in pain for years suddenly declares they feel fine. They move and walk for the first time in ages. This is what he means by, don't look for the actual doctor, come look for me.
Don't look for the healing, look for the healer.
The structure of these performances is as much about theater as it is about faith. They're carefully designed to stir emotions and reinforce belief. The lights, the music, the crowd, the energy, all create a setting where anything feels possible, sweeping attendees up in the experience. And here's the most pressing question. If these miracles are real, why don't they happen in hospitals? Why are they confined to the dramatic settings of a megachurch, with lights, cameras, and crowds? Upon closer examination, the answer becomes painfully clear. They're built on one thing, a lie, a big lie.
That woman works for us. Woman doesn't have polio, never did. Then why did she?
The effectiveness of these performances lies not just in the event itself, but in the psychological and emotional environment they create. Faith healers know how to use the power of a crowd to amplify belief. From the moment attendees walk in, they are surrounded by people who share the same hopes and expectations. The music rises and falls, creating waves of emotion, and the pastor speaks with authority and conviction. This environment sets the stage for a phenomenon known as suggestibility. In heightened emotional states, people are more likely to accept what they are told. The promise of healing, combined with the charged atmosphere, makes it easy to believe in miracles. For some, the adrenaline and hope in the moment can lead to real, temporary changes. Pain feels diminished, seemingly gone.
She had a stomach condition, all healed tonight, and her husband had problems with his feet, all pain gone.
After exploring the manipulation, staged miracles, and the prosperity gospel's promises, one unavoidable question remains. Is this faith or is it exploitation? Here's the thing. Faith itself is not the problem. The problem lies in how it is being used. Faith should bring people together, inspire kindness, and offer hope. It shouldn't be turned into a business that profits off people's vulnerabilities.